This is why I prefer ground mounts. This baby is up there. Got 30 panels going on this roof, all different facets, different roof racking systems. Good morning, folks. It's a chilly morning. We've arrived on our new job. Hello, Johnny. We got Antonio. Oh yeah, you don't need to do that. Just grab a hold of this 500-pound lithium battery, and it'll stretch you right out. You don't need to do any of that. That's craziness.
Get warmed up for,
this will warm you up. We got to take this battery into this house down in the basement, and
see that battery right there? I'd throw it over the side of that mountain.
Okay, Uncle Rico. And I haven't been able to use my ramps for this cool trailer, so I'm pretty excited for this move. I guess I got to help. We're about to do a solar job with a lithium battery. Oh, easy, Antonio. Let's use the... All right, I guess I got to stop filming. Oh, Merry Christmas. We just opened our first Christmas present. Rolled out the Fortress. You gotta love these E-Volts. Just a nice, compact, all-in-one BMS on casters, 360 amp hour beauties. Okay, the fun begins. Gentlemen are on the roof doing a layout of these RT Apex railless system mounts. Little peel and stick.
On this red, on this line and that line are panels. Yellow is where the foot is approximately based on the shingle line.
I see. Running the first screws in on these Apexes. Ooh, they're sweet.
Just a little
man. Don't have to hit a rafter, folks, but if you do, that's great. Oh, they just grab.
Let me show you, Antonio. Hey.
Leveling panels.
Right there.
RT Apex. Well, this is our first attempt at the RT Mini Apex railless system. And the jury's still out. This is a lot of fiddling. Not the best roof to start on, a 1212 hanging off a cliff. But they're getting it.
How good it is. It's plugged.
Solar isn't always fun. We had a MC4 connector that just would not snap, so we had to replace it on a panel. And of course it had to be on the edge. That's kind of a bummer, so I had to take that panel off and put a new MC4 connector on. A little bit of quality control. But these guys are good, they caught it. We're running some EMT on the roof to connect these two arrays coming into a solar deck. And don't look down there, it's chaos. Day 3 on this fun 1212 roof pitch job. There's four facets. There's one on the back side. There's this one and the one they're on, and then we have one over here. So there will be 30 panels, 2 strings of 8, 2 strings of 7 paralleled. And done a pretty good job of hiding the conduit runs on the back side. Because a lot of times, you know, you're driving down the road and you see solar. If you're a solar guy, you look at it and you're like, oh, what an ugly conduit run. Hideous. So we're trying not to do that. Practice what we preach. Okay, we're trying to practice what we preach is what I was trying to say. All right. These are some really nice looking panels when they're up, these Solarias. They almost look like shingles, got a lot of gray in them. So anyway, pretty cool, awesome panel. We got to get off the roof today. The goal is this job is done on the roof. We got a lot of mech room work to do to finish this thing tomorrow. Sorry. I didn't get that slip on video or anything. All right, this is a 8-panel array that will be paralleled with the one on the other side of this ridge. These are pretty beautiful panels. Look at the gray in them. It looks like shingles.
That's good.
I like them. You're gonna go through all this hard work, you might as well make them look good. 12-12 pitch is not our friend.
No one's friend.
No one's friend.
Yeah.
How's your tool working? Is it working? All right, Engineer 775, just dressing some panels. Got 30 panels on this job, and these are a different width. They're a 44-inch wide Solaria by 64, so kind of an odd shape for us. But here I want to show you what I do with the EMP suppressors. They clamp around both wires, the large suppressor, then I zip tie it, and then I electrical tape it to make sure it stays in place. So it's got a clip, a zip tie, and tape. All right. Day 4, getting everything built, getting all the electrical built, DC disconnects on the right. This is going to be our AC disconnect, but it's also going to be a generator inlet. The customer had an existing 7,000 watt generator, so we're going to put that back and use it on one side of our GE transfer switch so he can still run. He's been on the generator for several years and has been able to pretty much, by controlling the breakers, run everything in his house, including the air conditioning unit. So we're just putting that capability back and adding some by using the generator to charge batteries if need be. He's got the eBike. So we've got solar coming down from the roof, from the solar deck over. We'll land that in there, and then we'll take the solar down here with number 10. I think that's what Johnny's doing on the other side. This will be grid power, our bi-directional back feed. Got a 50 amp breaker in here. We'll sell back there. All right, outside is coming together. We just really need one more day, but we're gonna do what we can. We'll get it up and functional today. All right, just wanted to show you our setups here with bringing the solar down to our DC disconnects, the IMOs. These are great. You can get them in all different amperages and configurations. These are 25 amp 4-pole disconnects. We'll bring down all of the solar. It's been paralleled on the roof, so we just have 4 conductors coming down off the roof. All right, positive and negative for each, and a ground that we land in a ground bar. And yes, we do tap the wiring trough and attach it there. On this side, we're going to have, I already put the CTs, the current transformers. These are the Hall effect sensors that allow the solar to calculate whether or not it's exporting power back to the grid or not, or zero exporting. So on this customer, he's going to grid tie sell. So whenever he has excess power, it's going to sell back to the grid. You can set the settings to limited power to home, so nothing is exported. Like if it's not financially attractive to send power back to your utility and you just want to sell it to your house, you're basically stopping the export of power beyond these 2 lugs here using these CTs. And they get run down. I'm pulling those down into the mech room, and we have some shielded 4-conductor wire to connect and land it in the terminal blocks in the Solarc. This is also going to be the grid feed. We will sell back power to this 50 amp breaker. Okay, and then this is the standard GE 100 amp selector switch that we use. Off position, and then it's going to be generator down and grid up. And the generator is just a small portable that will go through this Reliance receptacle here and will feed to the bottom lug. So if he wants to run the generator, that disconnects the grid, and he can charge batteries, run loads. And then up is for grid power, and that's where it'll be most of the time. And then it's serves as a service disconnect as well. So this is our AC disconnect, multi-purpose. So that allows us to kill 2 birds with 1 disco. All right, and then that's it. Then we will feed our solar from the other side of the IMOs. We will feed the solar down into the mech room there. We're going to bring some Romex. We got some 6.3 we're going to feed out here and land in the top of this baby. Out of the middle lugs will be, that'll be the grid feed there. Okay, so we're going to go from grid, it's going to be grid from that breaker through this pipe to the top, and then it's going to be generator up to the bottom, and then the grid feed for the inverter will land in here in the middle lugs, and then that will feed down and through to the mech room. Hope that helps. I know a lot of you are building your own systems, and hopefully this little snippet helps you. Engineer 775 in the mech room, having fun with this job because I'm getting to do most of the electrical myself, not all of it. Yes, I'm not a licensed electrician, but I play one on YouTube. Anyway, having fun. Those guys have a really difficult roof job. This job is just a challenge with the conduit runs, and so I'm getting to build a lot of the electrical on this job. I did the outside disconnects and conduits, and in here I'm putting in the solar. We are giving them a critical loads panel, and then I had this Reliance transfer switch. I got to get some more of these. This allows us to feed the solar to the 50 amp breaker. This is a 200 amp, 50 amp transfer switch. So right now we just switched over and the house is on, the grid power is coming into the transfer switch, and it's on this 200 amp breaker, which is feeding the entire house. The customer had labeled, put everything blue that he wanted to run in a grid down, which is, as you can see, the whole house just about. And so what we're going to do is give him the ability to run his whole house using this transfer switch. He'll switch this up, turn the power off, switch up, turn the 50 amp breaker on, and that will feed this entire panel from the solar. And he is willing, because he understands, because he uses a generator now with about the same output as a solar, so he knows how to manage the load. So if he wants to make a tank of hot water and the sun is shining, he can do that, but he's going to have some manual intervention to do that by turning off other breakers and just heating that water during solar hours. That's easy to do. I do that the same at my house. So this transfer switch enables him to do that. But if he's on vacation or away for a long period of time and they lose power, there's a few critical loads that he wants to be able to run. Freezer, refrigerator, possibly security cameras, and anything else that he wants to keep going so he can keep eyes on the place when he's away on vacation or away on a job. So that's what this panel is the critical loads panel. But we're going to be feeding both of these out of the critical loads breaker on the solar, and we'll use the PDBs, power distribution blocks, to split to both of those critical loads. We'll also be able to run the entire place on grid using our GE bypass, which I haven't installed yet, and that'll bypass. So I'm going to be bringing grid power in here from outside. This is going to be our solar conduit, and it's landed outside. I got to get the number 10s in here, land them. So there's still a lot of work to do. That roof just threw us for a loop. But for me, personally, this has been fun to just get in here and build this. We ended up removing the entire panel, putting a sheet of plywood behind it, tap-conning it into, the inverter's tap-conned into the concrete wall, but we used the ram set to shoot some fern strips, some 5/4 decking in there. So it's just nice to have it all on the same plane. When you're building this stuff, it's just nice when you're piping it, it's all on the same plane. So I'm a little anal about that. But anyway, this is fun for me, and as we transition and do more and more DIY projects, it's fun for me to kind of stay ahead of the customers. And when they have questions like, how do you do this, how do you do that, it's nice to have done it prior to them asking that question, so you can walk them through any stage of the install. So if anybody out there wants to tackle a DIY project, we continue to learn ourselves and hopefully can help you with your system, from the solar to the mech room to your loads, you name it. Okay, I better get to work. Okay, we didn't quite finish, but we got to clean up, and that's what we're doing. Cleaning up, wrapping up another off-grid hybrid power room, Reliance 200 amp transfer switch, main panel, critical loads panel, bypass. The bypass is actually going to go down underneath here. Solar 12K, EMP hardened, and lots to do still, but we've got our grid power down. Our solar is landed. Main power, we got the grid feed moved over into the transfer switch, and then we're feeding the main panel. Got to hook up the CTs. Everything else is landed outside. So a little tidying up, probably another day of connecting and testing. But you get the gist.